Nicky asked Gonzalez, what is Blau ready for this opportunity? And he's talking about his brother-in-law, so what else is he going to say? But he's like, hell yeah, man. He knows he's a football mind. He's super locked in. He's ready to go. And what Blau said, they've got a lot of weapons in Washington. And I retweeted Nicky's video and was like, a lot of excitement for David Blau. And I got about 50 replies like, weapons in Washington? One dude, it was kind of funny. He said, Dave Blau must have bought a lot of guns if they got weapons in Washington. I just thought that was a funny line. Funny. But like a year ago, this team was on the doorstep of making the Super Bowl. Granted, they got blown out in the NFC title game. I think the final result wasn't quite indicative of a decently close game for much of that game. Yeah. There was a third quarter fumble really turned the tide.
Turnovers and stuff changed it.
Yeah. But knowing the Super Bowl is this year, knowing both teams in the Super Bowl this year missed the playoffs last year, it makes you wonder and ask, like, how can Washington get to the Super Bowl next year? How can they snip the snap, right?
400-meter hurdles.
400-meter hurdles.
She's strong.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just glad I was right about being a hurdle.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, the super obvious top of the list answer, Jaden Daniels staying healthy.
Yeah. That's
there are lots of answers, but that's number one.
That's number one. And I think that's obvious. You need to have your quarterback be healthy throughout the season. You look at the teams that are in the Super Bowl now, those quarterbacks were relatively healthy throughout. Improve your defense drastically. You look at both of these teams. One of them is there because their defense was so dominant. Because if their defense didn't play well in the playoff, they are not in the Super Bowl. As well as their quarterback had played throughout the year. You look at Seattle, their defense is damn good. So you got to get those two things. I just think that if you are better at defense and you got a healthier quarterback, knowing the capabilities of Jaden, putting the ball in his hands extra times when your defense is good at stopping people on third down, converting turnovers and things like that, your quarterback touch the ball more often, you have more chances to score points. Point blank.
Like, there are those that after this past year think Jaden is now going to be injury riddled, and they go back to the draft process and are like, hey, that was the concern, was he big enough, strong enough? I go back to year one where he didn't miss a game.
Yeah.
So, like, I think, and I don't believe he missed much time at LSU. Like, this year was incredibly fluky. I do think, whether it's Dan Quinn or Adam Peters or maybe Josh Harris, whoever it is, elite quarterbacks, you throw a pick, man, run the other way. Like, I think Jaden's got to be in that camp going forward.
Yeah.
You don't need that. But
I just think that whole deal, him already having the injury right there, made that bigger.
Well, that's what makes it so fluky, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think if we had to put a couple of suggestions in the suggestion box for Jaden, you cannot ask him to stop using his legs because he's lethal, and it's part of what makes him great.
Yes.
Now, I think there could be less design stuff with his legs. Maybe you dial that back a hair.
Yeah, it could be less design things, but I think as you play this game of football, you get more mature. You make better decisions when you're doing certain things. But you don't come in here knowing all that up front. You know what I mean? So as he go, I think things are changing. As he grows, matures physically, some of those things that might have happened last year probably won't happen the next time. You know what I mean? So I see quarterbacks that are small, and they play. They get through it. Because I was baffled when I have never really heard people talk about Bryce Young. He's lighter and shorter. And he's skinny too. But you just got to, if you get hurt, people are going to go to that thing. If you don't get hurt, then they won't say that. Point blank.
Right. How much, if at all, do you think Dave Blau will change the offense? Do you think we see Jaden under center a lot more?
I think it'll be a good bit more. I think there are some things, listen, when they move that quickly from Cliff to him, you know what the assistant coaches and other people hear? They hear things that the person was suggesting. And they understand, like, I may not be super drastic in it, but I have to make it better. And if those things are going to help a little bit more with the whole fluidity of the offense, I did a show yesterday. We talked about this where make sure the run game and the pass game are married. They're joined. So when you do something that's going to be a play action thing, you get the effect you need from the defense. You know what I mean? And I think he understands that aspect. We'll see how it goes.
I want to open the phone lines on this. 800-636-1067. 800-636-1067. Because I think the super obvious questions, how do the Commanders get to that Super Bowl level? And if you look at Seattle and New England, these were not expected Super Bowl teams. If you look at the AFC and NFC title games where you had the Rams and the Broncos, those were teams with real Super Bowl aspirations. They were coming off playoff seasons, retooled, added players. New England and Seattle weren't on the radar. So you can't say Washington can't be on the radar for next year. The NFL's a wild-ass league. Where do they need to get better? I think edge rush is obvious. I mean, that's the one specific position Adam Peters addressed in his end-of-year press conference.
Yeah.
I think you need to consider a draft pick. I think you need to consider spending real money in free agency. I think you hope Dorrance Armstrong gets healthy. I think you bring back Jacob Martin. That was a player I liked a lot.
I liked him off the bat. Remember that?
You did. You were on that. But I think ideally Jacob Martin is like a fourth pass rusher for you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think you can say, like, the 2024 draft class where they had 5 top 100 picks, you need those dudes to be good this year. It's year 3. If guys aren't good on their rookie deal, year 3 is when they get cut. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not suggesting anybody gets cut, but like you had 5 top 100 picks. You need starting caliber plus war type players. Now, obviously, Jaden's one of them, and he skews that scale so significantly, but at number 2, you can't miss either. Yeah. So, like, you have to look at the 4 of them, and I think you need Sennett. Like, everybody's going to talk about the tight end position. Do you have to spend real money there? Isaiah Likely's a player I like. You have a third-year player that you took in the second round. Like, whether he needs to step up or he needs to be given more opportunities, I don't know what that answer is, but the development of these draft picks has been inconsistent because you draft them high, they don't really get on the field, talking about guys like McGee, Sennett. Coleman got on the field a lot, then was kind of pulled off the field. Like, the drafting and development needs to ramp up this year for it to start to make sense. Mm-hmm. Then there's also, what do you do offensively? How do you get better? How do you maximize Jaden Daniels? Because I think that needs to be a priority. Taking your calls next, 800-636-1067. It is BMitch and Finlay.